Good evening, everyone. Today is March the 24th, 2026. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you, God, for another opportunity of prayer. We thank you, God, for another chance to come together and fellowship once amongst each other. We ask you, God, that you would just heal us all, help us all, and please guide us all during these trying times. We ask you, God, that you bless the viewers as well as their families as well. In Jesus' precious name we pray. And we say a special prayer for the troops that have been uh, sent to war. We ask you, God, that you will watch over them, protect them, as well as their families and loved ones, comfort them and keep them while we're going through these trying times. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Yo, what's good, everybody? Y'all come on in. I wanted to start off by saying happy born day to three people in particular. My big bro, um, Irvin Whitley, he celebrated on yesterday. Happy born day again, Irv. Actually, for my man Darnell Showcase Taylor. Happy born day, bro. I appreciate you. And then yesterday, my big brother, Dr. Kevin Danley, former guest of the show, our residential specialist. He celebrated his born day on yesterday. Double nickels on Tumbo in the building. So happy born day, bro. I love you. Appreciate you, man. Um, Miss chopping it up with you. Hopefully we'll get to chop it up real soon. And then last but not least, another big bro who's pivotal in my life. Um, I've talked about it on the shows several times previously, but someone that was pivotal and very important in one of the nights that I attempted suicide, was there for me, helped bring me back. Shout out and happy born day to my big bro, James McLaurin. Man, I love you for life, bro. Road dogs forever. I hope you celebrated your born day today with the family and the grands and everyone and had a blessed holiday. Happy born day, man. I truly appreciate you, man. And God for putting you in my life. So salute to all you guys and everybody else that celebrated over the previous week. Um, with that being said, we had to call the audible. Sam always reliable. MVP always got my back. We were supposed to do a show on hip hop tonight, but both guests um, had to graciously bow out. So um, Sam stepped in. I said we call it audible. I sent Sam um, something that I had posted this week. It's been raising a lot of conversation on my page. So I said we could kind of discuss that and just see where the conversation goes in general before we get up out of here. But what's good with you, Sam? What's good, Jew?
Oh, it's good. Just enjoying life, appreciating, the people I have around me. Um, Lost a friend of the family to cancer.
Oh man, condolences.
Hadn't Yeah, she hadn't even been married a year. So I'm really feeling for her husband and stuff. So it's the Brown family. Her name was Cassandra Brown, and so I just hope people just appreciate the people that they have in your lives while they're in your life.
hmm And I'm glad you said that because that's one reason I don't do it for clickbait. I don't do it to be facetious. I don't do it for whatever people may think. I do it because it's genuinely how I feel. That's why I close out each show like I have been, making sure that everybody calls someone that they haven't talked to in a while, or making sure that the people that mean something to you and that you value in a part of your life, whether near or far, might have been years ago. You might not even have the same relationship that you have now back then, or vice versa. But it's very important that we let our people know. And shout out too back to that. I'm glad you brought that up, saying because happy born day to Thomas Caldwell. TJ, welcome to the 50 Club. One of my former teammates in high school, Big 74. Man, I appreciate you, man. So happy born day to you as well. But it's important for people to know um, what they mean to you, and the little parts that they played in our life and the differences that they made in our lives while we yet can. You know what I mean? Anybody can speculate once they're gone. I don't want to hear speculation though. I need to know what Marvin means to you now. If anything, good, bad, or indifferent. It could be something negative. Let me know the impact that I had on your life. And I'm gonna certainly let you know mine and things of that nature there. But once they're gone, they're gone. We have memories, we have pictures and all that there, but it's nothing like actually in real time letting people know. You just never know that the difference it'll bring about in a day with you sharing the importance they played in your life. Um I didn't mean to cut you off, Sam, but I just wanted to interject
Oh
that
no.
there. You were saying that.
Yeah, you didn't. I just want people to, just appreciate people that's in your life because she was diagnosed about 6, 7 weeks ago,
Okay.
and with stage 4. And you know, the family called up all the prayer warriors, and I think a few days later she was in the ICU for like 3 weeks straight. Was able to get enough strength to come home for about a week, then had to go right back. And then 2 weeks later, she entered hospice. And it took our family pretty hard because we were pretty cool with their family, the entire family. So just to see that her go from this point all the way down like so fast. And my family gets on me because I get a colonoscopy like every 2 years instead of every 5 to 10. Because I tell people, look, I say if I have my insurance, they paying for it, my military insurance, all my other insurance, I'm gonna use it. you know,
Hmm.
Early detection, is key. But that was it. It just made me feel some type of way. My wife was just asking me about the funeral Saturday and stuff. And I'm like, I got to mentally prepare because she's only a couple of years older than my son. So it just takes it to heart. And I've seen the young lady grow up since she was like 7, 8 years old. Being at the church of St. Matthew's, and just my son playing around with her and her sisters. After service. So, I just want people that's listening just to, care about those, because you never know what could turn the corner and hit your life, in a different way.
No doubt. Amen to all that and above, man. Shout out to Belt Loop 29. Thanks for tuning in. Um, yeah, man. Like I said, it's definitely important, man. It's definitely important that we value the time that we have. I really feel like, and I try to break it out of the habit myself because I don't like to do generalizations and whatnot. But I really feel for most of us overall, and I've been trying to do it better personally. Um, I think that too many of us we take time for granted. Um, you know what? I got a headache. I don't really feel like going outside and enjoying the fresh air today, or I'll put this off to tomorrow. But we just never know when today is our tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is very, very important that we stop taking time for granted because we just never know. We just never know. We got, and especially at the age that we are now, we're not even like old. Like we're not up there like that. But we got people that's in these days and age. You got people that's in their 20s and their 30s passing away from natural causes, not
Right.
being murdered, not being killed, not any of that. They're just leaving here with no warning, no um and we're gonna probably do a show that in the future because I don't really have any ways of knowing. But I always wonder like what is that? Why are we seeing such is it does it have anything to do with what they're putting in our foods, what we're intaking in our bodies, all this different kind of things here. I would love to get somebody from that industry, an expert, so to speak, to find out, like, why are we seeing so many youthful deaths of natural causes as opposed to um in years previous, but years behind us. I don't remember seeing a lot of young people passing away um back in the day that I can recall like that. Um, I never forget one of my dear friends in Little Rock. I met him through my brother, but this was somewhere around maybe 2000, 2002. Sam, him and his girlfriend, they go to the movie theater. They go to the movie, see this movie. I forgot what movie it was. When the rolling credits go up for him to the end of the movie, he's literally like, "Babe, you ready to go?" She done passed away in the movie theater. Nothing wrong with her, good health. Teenager at that. It is life is, man. Time is precious, man, and we need to treat it like the gift and the blessing that it is. Um, ever heard of the 27 Club? Mostly they died of drug overdose. Yeah. Now I haven't heard of that, but I can understand. I can see that. I'm more or less referring to like young people dying of natural causes, though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a thick. Yo, my man.
Yeah. What
Hold
up, though?
Let me give him a little pop introduction, yo.
What's
Um,
up?
this right here is one of my brothers. Everybody that know it from West Side Nation. You're looking at two of the famous Fab Five. Me and this cat go all the way back. You know what I'm saying? I shout out to
Yeah,
my
yeah.
brother Gene Tutler.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
asked
What's going on?
what's good, Gene?
Ain't nothing, man. Ain't nothing. I'm good.
I told him I had hit him up last week. It's like, look, man, I want to get you on the show, man, because Gene got a lot to say about what's going on. Ex Navy guy. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
thank
Hey,
you
I
for your
realize I
service.
realized I just went into this is about to be my fourth year of retirement, man.
Okay.
I can't believe it.
Right.
Can't believe it. It's amazing.
Come on, Belt, don't support that blasphemy, yo. He my brother, but he know what he doing. He trying to rage baby with that cowboy gear up there. He know what he doing.
Hey, this I'm in my man cave, brother. You know what I mean? I'm sitting in my chair. Of course, I got my things around me. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna show you the rest of the room because it's a mess right now. You
I
know what I mean? I just
already
came from
know.
football practice. So hey, this whole room is like a bomb went off of here for a minute, man. My bad. I ain't mean to interrupt y'all conversation. I know y'all was going on. So
Nah,
go
nah, nah,
ahead,
nah. We were just
continue
talking
on,
about
man.
yeah, we were just talking about appreciating life and how we got people leaving up out of here super early, and man, we got to stop taking time for granted and one another. And that's one reason I stay on the fellas all the time, man. Like
Hmm.
I need for us the five of us to be in a room as soon as possible. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, 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 right,
It's
right.
crazy that it's been as long as it has been, where the
Hmm.
five of us actually been together. You know what I'm
For
saying?
real.
I
Hey,
don't want it
listen,
to get
I don't know the last time besides graduation, probably. You know what I mean? And that's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, real
Yeah,
literally over 30
yeah,
years ago. You know what I mean? So
for real,
it's
for real.
definitely time for a reunion, man. We got to get
Right.
together and do something. You know what I mean? We
All
got to
right.
work that out. But
All right.
and thanks for your service too, both of you guys. You and Sam both as well.
All right.
Sam, you
Sam,
you on
what would you army?
Yeah, the
Sam?
best. Yeah, the army, the
Nah.
best.
I don't
I'm
know about it, but
celebrating.
I'll let you live. I'll let you live. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I ain't
I'm
gonna worry about it.
celebrating. Yeah, celebrating 15 years of retirement.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, congratulations.
yeah.
Congratulations, man. All fingers and toes. It's
I
good
love
money.
that banter. As somebody on the outside, never been in the military, I always
Right.
love when I see military get each other with Air Force, Marines, and the little banter amongst us. It's just like
Yeah, I
sports.
mean, the army, they had a couple years where they was good in football, so they beat us. But they don't know that 13-year streak that we had on them. And I'm gonna just let that ride right there. You know what I mean? We got the ball back. It's in our corner. We all right.
Uh,
You know what I
yeah, but
mean?
I asked Gene. I told her, I said, "Listen, man, I want you to come on for me because he had made a couple of. He was always making posts. Always making posts. Our boy
Yeah.
Trump got him in an uproar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He take his blood pressure medicine. But he had made a real good
Facts.
interesting post about the Strait of Hormuz. Am I
Hormuz.
saying that
Yeah.
correctly?
Hormuz. Hormuz.
And that's
Right.
something that me, I have no problem with knowing that I know nothing about. I don't even know where it's at, the
Right.
importance of it. So I said, look, Gene, since you're in the Navy and you familiar with this here, it'd be good to have you on and educate the people about exactly the location, what is the Strait of Hormuz, and the significance of them possibly shutting
What it
it down,
is.
them
Right.
blocking it, like what's going on right now in Iran. And Sam, you could be a part of the conversation too. But just what's your whole educate the viewers and myself on this particular place and why it's so important.
Right. So like for me, right? Like I'm the dude in the Navy that's on the ship, and wherever they go, I'm going, right? Obviously. And when they drop me off or they say, hey, this is where we pulling into, that's where we pull into. I don't care how we get there. Right. I know we on the water, we getting there, right? Few things in the Navy that I do remember going through, right? The Straits of Gibraltar, because they got that big rock. Y'all seen the All-State commercial, right? With that big rock.
The
That's the
Rock of
Straits of
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, right? That's the Rock of Gibraltar. I remember going there, right? Doing those things. The Straits of Hormuz is another reason why that one is because you see Iran, like it's literally right there. You can see the land and you see them on their trucks, you know what I mean, riding with the ships, and they got their little missiles sitting on the top, like, yo, pop off if you want to. Right? It's that small, right? It's that they can reach you just like that. It's not the fact that, like I was telling I when I posted that other post, I was talking about the tanker that got stuck, but that was in the that was down that was uh so that was a different thing, right? That was a different thing. But the Straits of Hormuz, the importance of it is because like 80% of the trade goes through there for the world. This ain't just for America. You know what I mean? 80% of the trade is trying to go through there. If that thing is if that clogs up, and what I mean by clog up, right? So it's right, it's like a drain, right? Because you got to figure it's a big body of water, and then it comes to a strait. It comes to a narrow little strait. Now it's wide enough where you could put a couple ships in there and they could go side by side. But at the end of the day, if one of those ships get hit and then another one has to do damage control for it, they stuck. Nobody's getting in or out of there at that point, right? So it it stops it on that level, right? It'll stop it on that level. Now you, like I just said, is 80% of the world's trade is coming through there. So if you get a ship stuck in there for 2 days, 3 days, if just say 3 days, that's stopping. No, a lot of things ain't moving right now. You know what I mean? At that point, but then when you start talking about it as far as a military strategy, we can't get to there. We can't get to nobody if we can't get through there. We got to go the long way around. You know what I mean? And that's that cuts out a lot of time if we could go through there. But if not, we got to go all the way around, and because if not, you sitting ducks trying to go through there. You know what I mean? So you can't just thinking it's all sweet if you want to. You know what I mean? Them people got missiles and they riding along with your ship as you ride down there. Now, don't get it wrong. Like, we are ready, we armed and all that type of stuff. But when you right there, it's no open water. Ain't no open water to get to. You know what I mean? Like, it's you're in a barrel basically. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
And
So
you
my
said
bad, but yeah.
that's 80% of the world trade goes through there.
Yeah, all the shit, all the cargo ships, them big ships, the oil,
Yeah.
food, technology, all that coming through there,
Yeah.
right? If
Bello
it's
said
coming through,
20% of the world's oil goes through there as well.
right,
Hmm.
right. So if so now just that's why all your gas prices is up. You know what I mean? Things like some food ain't get it yet because it ain't hit that cycle. You know what I mean? In a month or two, it'll be within that cycle. Then you'll start seeing those prices creep up as well. You know what I mean? So the long play is to hurt China, but at the end of the day, you hurting us first.
You heard
You know what I
yourself.
mean? Right.
Yeah.
You shooting us in the leg too, fam. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that. So, but those type of things, man. And like I had like I'm glad my guy corrected me on where I was at because in my head it's all small bodies of water. I don't want to get stuck in. You know what I mean? Especially when I got people shooting rockets and missiles at me. That's not
Yeah.
where you want to be. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in no barrel. So,
Right.
that's where that was at. That's where that part went to. You know what I mean?
All right, thanks, Luke. And no, Luke, I did not serve, but thanks for
Yeah.
joining the show. Please subscribe to the show, man, and come back. We live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, man. I appreciate you for tuning in. Said that I enjoyed the live. I have to run. I hope to see you again. You all have a great week. I'll try and get back. Just have some live to visit. Live to visit. No doubt, no doubt. So what's your take on it, Sam? On the street
Well, I
or your
spent
experience?
I spent a few years over there. Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was in Kuwait. I was in Iraq. Um, spent a lot of time in Qatar, Dubai, like all around the Persian Gulf.
Right.
Um, when I first joined, I was a 55 Delta. I was EOD. So we basically my unit, we basically was scanning for like landmines, things like that, IEDs, and we were a lot of times we were in the red zone, quite a bit. So I kind of like.
Hold up, Sam. Hold up. I got to interject right there. What is that like when you know that your job, you're out here looking for landmines? What is that psyche like, bruh?
Well, I want to make sure I we had tanks, like the M1s. They had the attachment on the front where they would like plow into the sand and scoop landmines up, and they would go off a lot. What we did were IEDs. Like when they would, we had convoys going, so we would kind of like scan, and that's I think that's when like going to sniper school, things like that kind of helped because it made you look for like small details. But it wasn't when you train so much on it, it's like second nature. Like of course when it's over, it's like anytime you jump out of plane, you've done it so many times. Like when I went to jump master school, it was like I had like 160 jumps, so it was like second nature. So it was kind of like the same thing. But I do, we had to do a lot of studying because Iran used to use they used to put a lot of landmines. Iraq was also doing that same thing, because there was a time where Iraq and Iran was kind of like working together, when they was both trying to take Kuwait. So it was one of those things that, we had to study a lot of geography, and I think the strait is about roughly 18, 20 miles.
Yeah.
Where in the water it seems like a long way,
Right.
but it's small. But the water is so shallow that it's literally like just a 1.5, 2 mile where ships can get through, and that's where that bottleneck that he was talking about. And I understand he was saying, about how it's hurting us, and with us trying to hurt China because China gets the majority, even India. They get the majority of their crude from Iran because Iran gives it to them at such a discount. So that's kind of like India was getting all their oil from Russia when we sanctioned because Russia was giving them a 50% off discount. Even Saudi Arabia was buying oil from Russia because they're getting a 50% discount, but then they're selling their oil. People are like, well, Saudi Arabia, they got their own oil, right? They do. So what they was doing was they buy it from Iran, they buy it from, Russia at a 50% discount, and then they sell the oil that they pump on the open market for the full price. So for their population, it's a whole lot cheaper. Their energy cost is cheap because they're getting You know, like they going
They
to the
double
spot.
dipping almost. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They getting their money and they getting other people's money. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So I know like majority is really hitting like the allies like Japan, South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Um,
say that.
Unfortunately.
yeah, because you know most of the Asian like India, all those like a lot of people don't understand like anything over there. Iran over, those are considered Asian countries. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
Tajikistan, Pakistan, those
Mm-hmm.
are Asians. And
Yeah, all
even Russia is an Asian country. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
right. Mongolia is sandwiched right between Russia and China. So it's like, you know, just understand the geography. But I think
Mm-hmm.
personally, um, now that the US is kind of like taking the underwriting away from the UK, when the UK said we're not going to cover no ships going through the strait,
Mm-hmm.
um, they basically said that. So um, our president basically put out executive order and told Treasury, y'all going to cover the underwriting, and basically now the US is doing all the underwriting for all the oil tankers in that region. So literally took the business away from
Wow.
the UK. Now
Wow.
that's a part of the government. So 10% of that goes to Treasury. You know, it goes to like our deficit or whatever they want to spend it. So I think basically it's a power play. Basically it's a power play. And I just
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, the way our military is, you know, especially when I was in group, like the artillery, the munitions, the things that we had is like there's other countries that have the knowledge to do some things that are more capable, but they don't
yeah.
put the
What's good?
money
Yeah, we talking
toward.
about the Strait of Hormuz. My bad, Sam. We
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
the significance of the Strait of Hormuz. And Thomas, we gave you a born day shout out earlier, man. Welcome to the club, to the
yeah,
50 Club, my bro.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sam.
yeah. But I just think it's one of those things that now that everybody's on board now because you know our leader basically banged his chest and you know the thing I think that most countries fear from him is they feel he will do what he says. It's not like when Biden says something or Obama says something or Bush says something, you know, they would challenge it.
Yeah,
The
because
one
he's
that's
not diplomatic. That's why. Because he's an
well,
ass. He's just gonna do it.
yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
that's why things is hey, that's
That's
why
why
things
we're at
is
war
getting
right
done.
now. Like we ain't supposed to be there. We
Yeah,
ain't
I
supposed to
mean,
be
but
at
at
war
the end
right
of the
now.
day, any worldwide trade, the U.S. is going to be involved in because our entire
Economy
economy
is on
is
trade, right?
based off of trade. It's based off of debt. That's why
Mm-hmm.
our dollars don't say gold certificates no more. They don't say silver certificates. They say certificates of debt because everything is trade now with the US. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we're like the world police because you know, had we not gone into Kuwait when I went there, when we hit Hurricane Katrina, we
Mm-hmm.
literally would have been seeing $12 to $15 gas, but Kuwait was giving us 500 million barrels a day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because we helped liberate them. I still look at my medals. They gave us our medals. They literally had a solid gold nugget in the middle of our medals. You know, like
Dang.
that's how
All
much
right.
money they had.
Right.
But they just couldn't beat Iraq because Iraq
Mm-hmm.
was just too strong. But that was an opportunity to get that influence, to get that deep crude, that dark crude, because all of the crude now in the US is light crude because all the fracking. So it's watered down, you know, a lot of water in it. So it's
I could
still
tell my car don't go that far no more on the tank of
yeah.
gas. You know what I mean? It just watered down real quick.
But
But I
I
understand what
think
you're
this,
saying.
yeah, I think the straight. I think it's. I know they just reached out yesterday. They announced that they've been talking the last couple of days, and you know, but at the end of the day, I mean, I've been to 4 different conflicts,
Mm.
and um, I just think it's one of those things that I hate any life that's living, and I don't want to sound like cold, but back
Any
in
life that's lost or living.
well, the thing is, like, we are so strong. Like, if you think about, like, when the guys went and got Maduro, like, it was Delta. They was the Delta Regiment. I was in a Bravo Regiment. The Delta Regiment is literally like John Wick. Like, they can straight out sprint. That's the reason why guys get kicked out of Delta so much, because if they don't keep up, you don't get trained up. If you can't keep up, you're taking out the regiment. That's why when you look at the we talked about it on our podcast. I say I can tell when something's a lie when they say, like, Delta's captured or something, because Delta don't wear boots.
Hey, real
Delta
quick,
wears
Sam.
sneakers. So
Hold up, real quick, Sam. Hey, what's good, Jen? Hey, Dorothy. We definitely keeping the family and you in our prayers as you attend the service. Of your mother's friend tomorrow. And Beverly Bergman Tucker. What's up, fam? Glad you made it back safe. She said thank you for your service. I serve your service, guys.
Yeah.
Too good. She's also a retired Air Force specialist as well. So shout out to her. Thank you for your
Yeah.
services always. Yeah, but go ahead, Sam. You were saying about the Delta. Delta.
yeah, I just I know there's a lot of things that's going around, but because I was an operator, I can kind of tell, like, what's going on based on who the U.S. sends in. If they send in the Rangers, I know that an operator or Delta has been captured, and the Rangers going to rescue those operators.
Okay.
I know if they're sending in SEAL Team 6, I know it's a straight kill mission, because SEAL Team 6 don't do rescue. They don't,
Not at
they
all.
they send Delta in for when they want the person, because I think they took out, you had a team of 12 to 16, and they went and got Maduro, and they killed over 300 Cuban soldiers. And not one soldier was lost. Like, that's how bad they are. So when it comes to, like, the Strait of people can say, oh, Iran is this and Iran is that. But at the end of the day, I know what they're saying, that they have the capability. It was a whole lot more than what Iranians were telling the US and the world what they had. Like, they said they had no intercontinental ballistic missiles. But yet the other day they just fired one at a US base 2,000 miles away. So they lied about not having that capability. So who knows what else? So I just tell people, like, look, when you poke the bear, don't get upset when the bear gets poked back. When you continuously say death to America, you continuously say all Christians need to be taken out, you poking the bear. So when you go looking for something, don't get upset when that bear come looking for you. And I think right now that's basically what happened.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Sam. But at the same time, that like, to play devil's advocate, like, come on, don't nobody show their whole hand. Of course they lie. We all countries lie about their capabilities. Nobody's gonna put all their cards on the table and tell you, when it comes, especially to military and defense, with all that, we got 200 million bullets, and that's it. We ain't got no hand grenades. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna give you the recipe for that there. And this is what I wanted to ask both of you guys. So right now, present day, like, how many troops have been deployed in all? Do you guys know? So that number?
I don't know. I know it's a bunch of ships over there, you know what I mean? And for me, depending on what size of the ships, that you can go from 300 to 5,000, depending on what types of ships over there. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I don't know, right? But as far as that, as far as the troops go, I hear they saying they sending 20,000. You know what I mean? But that's just what I hear. I don't know. I don't believe this administration is going to be honest with us and tell us what's going on. So when they talking about And just to get on to the thing about what they talking about what you said, poke the bear. If we sent bombs over there, we said we obliterated all this shit when they ain't got no more stuff. Why are we still attacking them if they ain't got nothing? How they going? How are they doing this? You know what I mean? So that's my thing. And like you said, like everybody, ain't nobody gonna tell you what they got or what they did or whatever. But at the end of the day, right? To me, it's just like we just pounding on somebody that we can, right? Like we mad at China, we mad at Russia, we taking it out on their little brother. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if you don't want the smoke, don't get the smoke. Don't do it with nobody. Right now, we good, right? We good. Build us a back up. Right? The rest of America is out here hurting. And this motherfucker want to send us over in a war. He want to send billions of dollars over there. We spending $1 billion a day over there, and we over here get high ass gas, high food prices. People can't get medical. He cutting all these SNAP programs and all this shit, but we supposed to be over here and be happy because he over here. We could beat Iran. I don't give a fuck about beating Iran. I care about my family being able to put food on the table and my family be able to get back and forth to work and school. You know what I mean? That's the type of thing I'm worried about. So when we talk about how we, you know, the gas for the future, yo, first off, we supposed to be drilling. We supposed to be drilling baby drill over here, right? We supposed to be making gas over here. We supposed to be, what's Texas, right? What's Alaska? What's that pipeline? What's them things doing, right? All that type of stuff. So when it comes down to it, for me, this is why I don't like this dude, because everything he said has been a lie. If it ain't been a lie, it ain't been a truth, right? And if it ain't a truth, it's a lie. So I don't believe this dude, whatever he say, right? He said they trying to kill him. Who don't want to kill you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to say it like that. Like, I'm not going to say assassinate the dude, but at the end of the day, look how many people you done fucked over. You know what I mean? Like, how many people you done crashed? Like, you know, you done crashed out on them, on their countries, and then you expect them to be wanting to be cool. He done spit in the face of all of our allies, talking about get out of here. I ain't joining nothing. We separating ourselves. So you putting us on the island as the whole country. And that's okay, because listen, I'm with us. I'm a rock with America because I'm an American. You understand? But at the end of the day, when you sending all the aid somewhere else, you ain't building us back up. You know what I mean? You ain't building us back up. You building up another country. Why? That's my question. But
let me ask you all of this. Let me ask you both this and the viewers as well. Because I haven't been following in the news. I refuse. I said I got to do better. I just had to take a break because it's just too much going on. You know, but where is the Israeli military in all of this?
Standing behind us while we go do the heavy lifting.
Like, am I wrong for even having that train of thought? Like, I thought this was supposed to be their war, but it seems like all I'm hearing about is what we doing in this. I'm not hearing nothing about what's going on as far as the Israeli troops. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, we've been sending them weapons and things for years, decades. You know what I mean? And where's it coming down? We don't know. Like I have yet to hear that there was Israeli troops killed. You know what I mean? Like I ain't saying I want to hear it. I don't want to hear, you know what I mean? Obviously, but it's a war, right? It's a war going on. Like where are their troops at? That's in this fight. You know what I mean? Like where they troops at? I know we got 13, and I know. And first off, I was stationed in Bahrain, right, for 2 years. That dome that blew up over there, that was mine. That was my building. I would have been in that building at that time, right? Because that's where I worked at. So yeah, that hit hard to me. You know what I mean? That definitely hit hard on me when I saw that. But at the end of the day, right, when it come down to it, right, that's all they was talking about. And this was 2018 when I was over there. All they was talking about, Iran. That was our drills, was being ready for them, right? Because we are the comms for the Fifth Fleet area. So I know they was coming for us. So when that bomb hit there, listen, when that missile hit there, whatever that was, the drone or whatever it was that hit there, yeah, like I was that really touched me, because I actually, when I was there, we had installed those two domes. So when that thing went up and that big golf ball went up and it collapsed in, that broke my heart, man, because I put that thing together. You know what I mean? Like I was the one that was like, hey, here's the installation package for this and all that. So it was real deal for me. You know what I mean? And then to see the building afterwards, that's like, damn, that was my that was my little office area. You know what I mean? So like it was real. Like it was real. So I feel that.
Hey Dorothy, if you get a chance, send me that link on Messenger. I can't get it through the way you sent it, but you sent the link saying Trump latest is he's telling black and brown ICE agents not to wear a mask at airport, but yet the white ICE agents are ordered to wear a mask at the airport. I'm not
Hey,
sure.
I just got on somebody about that shit too. I just got on somebody about that too, boy. Like, hold on, where's my remote at though?
I was just at RDU earlier, and nobody has masks on.
All right. Israel, too said Israel's pimping the crap out of the U.S. Julian said Israel got the U.S. on the front line. U.S. leading the war. Has anyone ever said Max why? That's what I just asked. Drew.
Well,
like,
you want to know the reason why?
Good.
It was codified under 22 USC 8601 in 2014, and that was Obama's brainchild, and that's what kicked off the Iron Dome. So when Obama signed that and gave them the technology for the Iron Dome, he also signed that USC 8601 stating that the U.S. will supply all the weapons, everything that Israel needs. So if you want to say somebody is this or that, look at Obama, because he's the one who pushed for that. And I just, for people that's listening, look up 22 USC 8601. Because I do a lot of the studying and stuff, for school, but I just think that it's one of those things that I look at the 250 plus Marines that was killed. It was by the Ayatollah. You look at it's over 1,000 soldiers that have been killed. It didn't care about your skin color. It was just you was a U.S. soldier. It didn't care about your branch. It didn't care about your gender. So the people who have been taken out, to me, is not a new war. It's something that has always been. And I just hate that, when you look at the tale of everything, all these years they've been digging in. Just like in Vietnam, when the U.S. went over to Vietnam and, lost all them soldiers because for years, the Viet Cong was just digging tunnels. They had an underground city. The same thing Iran has been doing probably since the late 80s, even though this guy just took over in 1979. But since the late 80s, they have underground cities. And we know they have it because out of all news networks, CNN just did a story. They allowed CNN to go over there. CNN literally, if you go and watch it on CNN's YouTube, they were allowed to go in there and do a story on it. And they showed the underground tunnels where they had the drone. Like they have whole, like you go to the Cowboy Stadium, they have things in mountains and stuff big as that. So I just think like it's one of those
we do
things,
too though.
when you go to the, I learned more of it when I went to the Army War College, and it opened my eyes up to the actual capability. And then after finishing selections and stuff, you begin to just see a whole different aspect. Like I can't tell you what S4, S3 people in the rear, but I can tell what happens on the front line. Because I got the wounds to show that. So I just think that is one of those things that I tell people. A lot of people want to put stuff into politics. No matter what political party, they the same beast. Mm-hmm. So when people say, "Oh, this, that," I always tell them, "Where was that energy at the last one, or the one before that, or the one before that?" Yeah. When people want to talk about the Epstein file, I'm like, "What about that? What about?" They've been there all these years, but now you're waiting to right now to like say things
because he said he was going to be the one to release them. So if you're going to be the one to release them. Stop talking about it. Let's go do it. You was talking all that about, I'm going to release the files day one. I'm going to stop this war. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Ain't did nothing. Zero. Yeah, zip. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you here now, the one in office now, that's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead, Marv. You got it. I don't want this to be an emotional thing. I was just
it's not. It's not. What I'm saying is
like when you cut me off emotionally. I was just stating my thing and you cut me off, bro. So it's cool.
I promise you it wasn't emotional, but I'm just talking. I promise you that it wasn't no heart, no hate in my heart from that, right? It's not emotion. It's this was the fact that I had. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. This was the fact. He said, right? Day one, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do all this stuff, all these things to go down. And yes, I understand politics, but you said it and it ain't getting better. It's getting worse. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's not coming from emotion. Those are coming from facts, man. That's a fact.
Worse for who?
America.
Like
the rest of us, like the rest of the country.
As a retired veteran, this is like just me and you talking. We both both retirees, right? What since January of 2025, what in your life has changed and hurt you personally? Not with so-and-so down the street. I'm asking you, have you lost any benefits? Have you not been paid any of your retirement?
I have not. It's but see,
that's
listen,
what I'm saying. Like you,
right, I have not lost anything, but my gas prices went up. My food prices are still high. Right, I went into a different tax bracket. Now I got to pay more tax bracket. I got to pay different taxes. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, things have affected me. They have affected me, but all those things like SNAP benefits, like I still got family that's on that. You know what I mean? So all those things, they still affect the people that I love. It ain't got to be me personally.
Who lost
right?
SNAP it's people that you know.
I got family members that have lost it. And I just told you I've lost family members. I have family members that have lost their SNAP benefits.
Why did they lose their SNAP benefits?
Because this motherfucker cut the bill. He said we ain't doing it no more.
You know the SNAP benefit, that rule that was in that big beautiful bill. You know that didn't come into effect. That doesn't come into effect until October 1st of this year.
January 2026 it started.
You're talking about a few things. We did a whole podcast where we went through the whole exact thing. Everything didn't start on one day. Everything was staggered because just like HUD, the main priority, like I don't know how you feel about it. I kind of know how Marv feel, but me, I'm like, people coming here getting taken care of a whole lot better than people that's been here. And I'm talking about people that look like us. Like I see more people coming from Afghanistan that didn't help us over there. I was there. Everybody that helped us, they got paid. Their entire families got citizenship because they knew the Taliban takes out your whole family, not just you and your wife. So all of those people, over 60,000 people just from that, 600,000 got U.S. citizenship. So all these people that was coming over, when the last guy said swarm the border, come as you come, all that did was take resources out the Black community. Like people can talk all the politics all they want, but what I focus on is the Black community. When I see these dang on Afghans and stuff coming into the south side of Chicago or coming from Mexico or Guatemala to the south side of Chicago, that takes Black resources because here's the thing. Federal funding is allocated by test scores. And we're talking about the south side of Chicago for to pinpoint that example. Is by test scores. Who has the lowest test scores by demographic? Number one, young Black boys are number one. Number two are young Black girls. Those are the two lowest demographics on testing on the south side of Chicago. So when you have 5,000 people that come into the south side, they're automatically put into the system. They automatically get moved ahead of those young brothers and those young sisters. You know why? Because they don't speak English. So they're automatically moved up in priority. Talk to any educator that knows about federal funding, and they'll tell you that.
I mean, my wife's a school teacher. That's why I don't hear that. But go ahead.
That's how they take resources. On the south side of Chicago, there was only one football field put together and built by the Black community. The mayor there shut down the community center and housed illegals there. Guess why? So they could play soccer. So they had a soccer field. So they had to cancel the entire Pop Warner, who majority of the kids that was playing was Black. So my thing is this: I don't care. War is war. What we doing over there is what we doing. I was a soldier for probably just as long as you. That's just how the world is. Everybody, there's always conflicts. There was a reason why we have Velcro on our stuff, where my family would think I'm just going to the field for 30 days, but I was on the other side of the world. The thing is, it's nothing going to change. So all I try to do is educate on the community resources and tell people to be mindful that I'm against anybody coming in and taking resources from the community. That's just
so that's what the president doing though.
No,
right? He trying to roll back birthright citizenships. He's trying to do all this other things, right? Like, so listen, all the things that he's doing is going deeper. So first is SNAP, right? You take those away, right? Who was the main beneficiaries of SNAP, so that everybody thinks, right? Is us. That's what they say. But even though it's a high majority rate of the white people on it as well. But they don't care. They'll cut them all too.
SNAP benefits. I know how SNAP benefits are being taken. I want you to tell me how they're being taken.
They're not taken from me. I can't tell you. You know what I mean? Okay, but I can tell you my families are telling me I can't go to the store and get the food that I want and get the things that they need because they're not being supplemented.
Okay, I understand. So when Bill Clinton came in office, he basically, Bush was the first
Clinton's fault.
Let me finish my statement.
Okay.
When Bush Jr., when he let in all these Somalis and all that was Bush Jr. He let in all them Somalis, gave them all these all the welfare, all the stuff they wanted. Then Clinton came in office. This is when he was running against Ross Perot. Because he basically took Ross Perot's all his policy and basically said, look, Bush had all this social SNAP, all this stuff. And what I'm going to do is you got 2 years. This is what Bill Clinton put in. You got 2 years to be on government assistance. And unless you disabled or if you have no dependents, you got 2 years. You got to show that you're either trying to educate yourself through community college, tech school, trade school, something, or you're going to be off. When Obama came in, he removed that work requirement. So all that's happening now, the guy that you up in arms about, all he's doing is incorporating what Clinton did, look what he just did with Bernie Sanders, with Elizabeth Warren. All he's doing is putting in the policies that those Democrats wanted. The tariffs, you can look at Obama tried to get tariffs, Bill Clinton tried to get tariffs, George Bush even Bush Sr. tried to get tariffs. So if they trying to get it, now everybody is against it because of the person. I don't vote on personality. I'm looking at the policy, and the same reason why I voted for Clinton, the same reason, Clinton got top in the Oval Office, but I didn't care about that because I don't vote for people to invite them to the cookout. Clinton did exactly what he said, and he was the last president to where the U.S. had a balanced budget. The last one. So if
everybody else ran it up in debt, all the Republicans anyway.
I mean, that's the thing. So I'm for all those Bill Clinton policies. I don't care who the party is. That's why my cards say unaffiliated. I'm not no slave to no political party. I want what's best for the people I care about, period. I don't care who does it as long as it's benefiting my community. So
right now, you think Trump is benefiting us as a community?
Have you done your taxes this year?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
and I
you
had to
didn't
pay
get no
more.
increase.
I did not. I actually had to pay. So it's first time ever I had to pay for taxes. Pay my taxes.
Yeah, that's
Usually I
good.
get a refund.
Uh,
You know what I
okay.
Hey,
mean?
hold up. You
I
said
got
I'm out.
I got 4 kids, right? I got 4 kids. So I usually get money back, right? And now I got 3. One's grown, he's out the house, cool, no worries. But I got 3 that's still in the house, right? I'm supposed
And
to get money back. I should. I
You
still
had
had
to
to pay.
pay with 3 kids.
I still had to pay.
You need to fire whoever doing your taxes. I'm for real.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to do an
Hey,
amendment because the new tax credit was
yeah.
doubled per child, and you saying you got 3
No,
dependents?
no. It used to be 3,000. It's 2,000.
No, you need to, like I said, you need to fire whoever did your taxes.
I got the kids. I know, brother.
I do tax,
I
but
did it.
it don't. I do policy for a living. This is what I do
Okay.
all day.
All right. All right. So answer the question though. Do you think Donald Trump is looking out for black and brown people too?
I think you're looking out for everybody.
No. Okay. Cool. I didn't say everybody. Black and brown people specifically. Do you think he's looking out for them?
Well, what you talking about? Like HBCU funding? What?
Nope. I'm talking about overall all
HUD
his policies.
housing?
Do you think his policies are good for us?
Yeah. Tell me how. Let me give you one example. I'll give you 5 or 6, but let me give you one.
Right.
So, property taxes. Who do property taxes, and I'm talking about home ownership, who hurts or who suffers from property taxes out of all the demographics? Is it black folks or white folks?
Whoever got to pay him, I guess. Everybody hate paying property taxes. So,
well, who does it affect the most? The people I'll put it this way. Who's dead last in wealth in America? What demographic?
Right, we are, right.
So property taxes hurt the worst demographic. Do you agree or don't you agree?
Not really.
Let me say how it works. Let's say your mortgage is $1,000 a month and you just barely holding on. You just barely able to make that mortgage payment. Your property tax go up 2.5%. Now your property tax went up. So your mortgage, because of escrow, because of the property value going to be reassessed and it's going to go up. So now instead of paying $1,000 a month, you're paying $1,350 a month. If you was barely holding on, let me use North Carolina, Wake County, here where I'm at for an example. When they updated in 2020, they put that affordable housing on the ballot, $150 million. And they basically told the black community, this is going to get you into home ownership, going to get you all this stuff. Okay, they voted for it. Soon as they raised the taxes, foreclosures in Wake County, North Carolina, went up 467%. 69 of those families were black households. So the numbers right there don't lie. That's 69%. So when we break up the other 31%, that's literally like Hispanics, Asians, that's all the other demographics combined. More than 60% for the black community. That's why property taxes hurt the black community. Think about the Outer Banks, all these places where black folks owned all this land. How'd they get it from them? They taxed them out of it by raising their property tax. So that's history. That's facts.
So what does that got to do with Trump helping us, bro? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
His policy of removing property tax.
Is it done? Did he do it?
Once he gets 7 more senators that are
It's
Democrats,
not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Every Republican voted for it except for one.
Right.
But the point is, so up to this current day, because you have been saying that for a while now, saying, but that's the goal. That's not what it is right now. That's
that's for any president.
No, I'm just asking.
So Obama inherited, and Obama
yeah.
inherited a mess, right? He inherited a mess. He fixed the mess eventually, right? He fixed
what
that
mess
the
did
debt.
he inherit?
The we was about to crash. We was about to go into a recession, right? When Obama took over, the car industry was failing, the automobile industry was failing, the banks was about to crash. A whole bunch of things was going on.
You talking about all the black folks he put out of business? Because when he did the cash for clunkers and he gave all the money, he bailed out all the big three except for Ford. And then Stellantis came in and bought them and moved them all to the Netherlands, which is why you paying so much for a Dodge, a Jeep, all those cars, because he sold it to a Netherlands company and it closed down all the factories here. Is that what you're talking about? The cash for clunkers? I'm not sure if he frozen or.
I think Gene froze. Hold on, I want to get to this comment too from Drew. Hey, what's good, Rod? Drew said, "I'm outside looking in. Honestly, the U.S. have no business in this war. If Israel wanted to get Iran, they should have did it on their own. It's bigger and darker than what we are saying." He also said, "One day, a lot of people going to understand that these two parties working together fulfill the same cause." I agree that 100%, Drew. It's all semantics to me. But I wanted to ask you something, Sam. You mentioned earlier about the number of soldiers that were killed by the Ayatollah. Why was that? And I'm not being facetious. I'm just asking why were they killed by the Ayatollah? And where was this at?
It was all in the Middle East or in Europe, all throughout Europe and the Middle East, either by suicide bombers. The last time was when we was evacuating out of Afghanistan. And Ayatollah, the 13 soldiers that got killed from that suicide bomber, that was the Ayatollah. So it spans 40 years, and people will say, well, hey, 1,000 soldiers ain't that much in all this time. Yeah, but when one of those is your child, your friend, your neighbor, one is too much, especially when it could have been prevented.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is what I was asking. And again, I'm not being funny. I'm just asking through my thought process. Like when you say when you talked about how they got these cities underneath in Israel and Iran, I'm sorry, and all this different things here and that there, what they lied about with all that did. As Americans, what business of that is ours?
When that's used to attack Americans. That's the business. When it's used to attack any soldier, anybody who got stars and stripes on their shoulder, that's when it's an issue in my eyes.
All right, so again, you say attack. Attack where? They've never been attacked here in America.
Yeah,
they've been attacked overseas.
I just gave you the last example. The 13 soldiers that was killed when the U.S. was leaving Afghanistan. Leaving. We was evacuating completely. They didn't have to he didn't have to have that dude come and blow up 13 soldiers. But he did.
True indeed. But
we were leaving. We were getting out of the area. Matter of fact, the problem was also the evacuation plan was chewed up because we shouldn't even have been there. We should have been in the strongest air base that was over in that region.
That's my point.
What'd you say?
I said, and that was the gist of my point. If we're not there, you don't have to worry about leaving. If you're not there in the first,
fact is we were leaving. We had been there. I did 3 tours there. We were leaving. So if your demands that you agreed to was okay, U.S. all of y'all places, y'all embassy, all y'all stuff have to be out done. You leaving. If the U.S. is leaving, it's no reason for you to send in suicide bombers to take people out.
Unless I feel like you shouldn't have been in my house in the first place.
Hey, now he's 6 feet under, and he's with his 2,000 virgins up wherever he with his wings. That's what you get. You poke the bear, he got bit by the bear.
Yeah, and that's like you said, you mentioned it earlier. You already know how I feel about war, period. But my whole point is, I just feel like an analogy, it sounds like to me, you come in my cousin's house, take the remote control, prop your feet up, and then on the way out, my cousin decide that, you know what, while he got his back turned, I'm gonna shoot him in his back.
Mm-hmm.
He should have never been in my cousin's house in the first place. So of course they have a right to defend themselves. Of course they have a right to, you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't have to let you in the house, put you in here. So what am I going to do after the fact? And I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying, I just feel like a lot of this stuff happens from us not minding our business, not minding the business that pays us. We shouldn't be involved in a lot of this stuff that we're involved in. And like you say, that's the part that be bothering me. You know what I mean? Because I can't talk about it personally.
Yeah, that's like you said. That's why we become the world's police, right? And we don't need to be. We don't need to be, but we need to be because of the trade value and all that stuff, like we talked about earlier. But at the end of the day,
but like you say, two things can be true at the same time. But at the same time, if we all, like you said, we're self-appointed, right? And I always go back to the same analogy. When my mom told me I'm going to see my girlfriend at West Side, my mom said, "Where you going?" I was like, "I'm going down to help Keith wash the dishes." No, you ain't. We got a sink full of dishes right here. Right. I be damned if you want to help somebody else wash their dishes with all the problems we got right here in our own house. You got people like in Flint, Michigan that don't have running water. Why are we going over here to assist Israel? Like you talk about the black community, stuff like this here. And again, I ain't even gonna get into the whole Trump this or Trump that. To your point, I don't care who's in office, Sam. When you closing down the inner city, right? All right, so you talked about it earlier with the Pop Warner. This is why it's so adamant to me, right? When I was in Little Rock and I was doing prison ministry, I remember this one particular day where the gang members, this was a while after I had been doing it, so we built a rapport, and they asked me one day, they said, "Marv, Red, that's what they used to call me. Red, how you feel about gangs?" And I said, to be honest with you, you don't want to know how I feel about gangs. Nah, Red, we respect you, I said, I think you guys are stupid for being in gangs. And one of them, he jump up, he throws little signs or whatever that means and all that did. And one of the other ones, one of his OGs, let him speak. You asked him, let him speak. Why do you think that we stupid for being in gangs? I said, listen, I just went to a Pop Warner game, 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's 300 people here. You feel me? Mm-hmm. I grew up in North New Jersey, where I was honorable mention all state. We had 13 people in the stands.
Right.
Half of them was homeless when we played football games on a Saturday. You know what I mean? You got all these people encouraging you from a young age to stop doing this stuff. You guys are talking about you being in the game because you ain't got nothing else to do and you bored. That's why you choose to join the gang. Well, Rev, you said you used to carry a gun on. Listen, I just wanted to make it home. That's the difference.
Right.
That's the difference.
I wasn't gang banging. I was just out here trying to get to the crib.
Exactly. So that, again, to your point, Sam, when you talk about shutting down football programs in a city like Chicago, that's where it's needed the most. I don't want to hear nothing about. I don't care who is in office. I don't want to hear nothing about we got to shut this down so that these foreigners could have a place a sanctuary to play soccer. These people that have been here for generations, we need a place of refuge. We need a place of hope. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't care. Again, I don't care who's in office. When are we going to get to the place where Americans, even though I do believe that is a stage, but I believe that all politics is real. I don't care who's in office. But when are we going to get back to the place where we're making America our first priority? Taking care of us before we take care of everybody else and make sure everybody else is safe.
Right.
Not just black.
And that's what this dude ran on. And that's what this dude ran on. And that's my whole problem with it. Right? Like, you know, he all and the thing about it is, you know, everybody blames the last person. Cool, got it. You're in office now. Do something with it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm worried about. You know what I mean? Programs getting cut. Cool. If you cut it, somebody else will put it back. That's how it goes, right? But at the end of the day, man, like, there is nothing positive that I've seen thus far. Right. And that's how I feel. That's what I've seen. I'm going off of the facts that have been laid in front of me right now. 10 years from now, does this get better? And then can we look back and hopefully can we look back and be like, yo, maybe that motherfucker was right. Excuse my language. Right. But at the end of the day, right now, as it sit at 9/12 on March 24th, 2026, it ain't going right for me. And it ain't going right for this country. And I can't speak. I'm not gonna say for the country because I can't speak for all of y'all. But I know when I look at my neighbors and we all feeling the same crunch right now. So that's how I talk about it. That's how I feel about it. And I'm in a mixed neighborhood, right? I'm not saying I'm not in the hood. I'm not in no super rich area. I'm in a very nice established little mixed community area. But everybody out here is doing the same thing. Like you talk about foreclosing on homes. It's a lot of foreclosed homes coming out here too. So I'm not, and what I say, when I say mixed community, I really mean mixed community. You know what I mean? Like, it's pick a race that's out here. You know what I mean? It's politicians that live out here. It's former athletes that live out here. It's a lot of military that live out here. Right. And it's a lot of people are getting their homes foreclosed on. But guess what?
I think he froze.
Froze up, Joe. Froze up, Gene. It might be
if he's on his phone. Yeah, if he's on his phone, if he goes into airplane mode and then open the link, I think that'll help. Because we ran into that issue with a couple of people on our podcast.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let them know. I'm gonna text them and let them know. Yeah. I just want us to do better as a people. I don't care, you know, and I give the whole. Hold up. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Oh, they made it official? Oh my goodness. We definitely got to segue to that before we get up out of here. Let me text him. Go ahead and say what you're saying, Tam, so I can text him that real quick. You said to go into airplane mode?
Yeah, go into airplane mode, and because he's on Wi-Fi, it'll probably be cleaner.
Okay, cool. He's about to put the kids to bed anyway. Yeah, shout out to my man Gene. I'm glad he got to stop by. I just want us to do better. As a global community, and I don't think that's realistic. Because like you said earlier, war is inevitable. War will always be a part of conflict. Will always be with us. You go back to the biblical days. You go back to the whatever. it's just a part of the way we live and the way we world. And I just wish that it's some kind of way we could coexist or whatnot, man. But again, my heart and my prayers is definitely with the troops that are over there, troops that are yet to be deployed. real quick, we ain't got to get on this long, Sam. But I know your take. Like I was having this conversation with a cat at work the other day. He's a former Marine, and his whole thing is, because people that serve, you guys have a different mentality. You also have and that's not. I'm not saying that in a bad way or a negative way. It's just that guys have a different way of looking at things, so to speak. And then you have a different way of looking at things based off of what branch you're in. Um, his whole thing is screw Trump because he's a draft dodger, and some of his brothers and sisters are over there, are being deployed over there, or sit down. They have already been deployed over there, and not over there in hostile territory as we speak. How do you feel about that as a former serviceman? The commander in chief being a draft dodger. Do you feel any type of way about that? Either way,
Honestly, I really don't care because since I've been voting, the very first person I voted for was Ross Perot. He lost against Clinton. Clinton drafted. He dodged the draft. Biden dodged the draft. So we've had three presidents that got out of being drafted because they used the provision that they were in college, which is open to anybody to be able to use that. So we've had three presidents in the time that I've been voting that has quote unquote dodged the draft. But how come everybody only talks about the last one? So that's why I really don't care. If you didn't have that energy 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago, don't have the energy now.
absolutely equivocally not, Drew. I'm not speaking for Sam whatsoever. Drew asked, "Do you honestly think that they're giving the public the right numbers of the soldiers that's been killed?" I've had this conversation with my Air Force friends and one of my boys that used to work at the Pentagon, and I remember, it's certain information that you could talk about, and certain information that you can't. It used to be one of those was, well, I could tell you, but I got to kill you if I afterwards. That he was high level like that, and I was like, oh, this ain't just a line from a movie. This is like a real thing. You got people with this classification. Um, but I used to always ask him. I'm like, yo, how was it that this is back and you was there, Sam? So then, thank you for your service. But back during Kuwait and all that kind of stuff, I remember, watching the daily news and, we be watching Sue Simmons and Chuck Scarborough. Uh, and rest in peace, Ernie Onassis. I just seen Ernie Onassis passed away last week. And everybody that's in the tri-state know who Ernie Onassis, or remember of our age, we telling our age, but Ernie Onassis was a class act to me as a reporter, as a news reporter and newscaster. So rest in peace to him. But I used to always wonder, and I'm still in high school, but just how are we in war? And it says we killed 227 of their people today, and only 3 of ours died. Like,
when was that?
This is like, I'm just using these numbers. These weren't the actual numbers. I'm just using the scenario. It just seemed like, back during Kuwait and Iraq and, my guy, but he was over in Turkey at the time. It was like we would see all these different numbers. You know what I mean? The Iraqi war, I believe it was, or Kuwait. What is it? This is around 90.
Yeah, Desert Storm.
There you go, Desert Storm.
And then it transitioned to Desert Shield when we went into defense mode.
Desert Storm, though, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But it was like you would see this drastic number on these soldiers that were killed, and 5 or 6 on our side. Like, it was never proportionate of war, and I never understood. Like, first of all, are these numbers accurate? And I can't discuss, the conversation that we had, but I will never believe any of the numbers that are reported. That's just me. I don't think that they actually give us the actual numbers. Just like I always ask people, and you could attest because you said you was over there too, Jen. And I'm not asking you this question at all. But I, I used to always ask myself, rhetorically, of course, all right, so even if these numbers were true, 227 of their soldiers died in, let's say, 15 of ours. How many of our soldiers were lost to what they call, and I never understood the term, but how many of our soldiers were lost to this thing that they call friendly fire that they not reporting? You know what I mean? It is war, and accidents do happen. We all heard the story about Pat Tillman and different things of that nature. There, I can only imagine, and it's even been portrayed in some different movies or whatnot. The case may be. So I don't believe that those numbers be accurate, but that's the always one thing that bothered me too. Like when people die of what they consider friendly war, like how do you, as you guys that serve, and you gonna answer this time. I don't care about the numbers or how the percentage saying, but if you, and you this if you have any personal experience with this, like how do you, I know how you guys are big on the code and leave no man behind and that whole type mentality, y'all whole brother. How do you cope with one of your brothers or sisters, one of your comrades in war have been lost by accident, by a mistake that somebody and one of us made? You know what I mean?
You don't. This is basically imagine you in a firefight, right? Six of you is six of the enemy, and you're on a firefight. The guy next to you get taken out. Are you gonna drop your firearm to do whatever, like start breakdown crying or whatever, or are you gonna stay in the fight? That's the one thing about the military. It doesn't allow you time to mourn, time to grieve, because I lost some friends, and we do our ceremonial roll call, and we travel to the funeral, but then 2 days later, everybody's doing inventory and the mission keeps going, and so it's one of those things. But like the numbers, I've had this conversation, offline with Jew, and I explained to him that I'm not saying that every number is 100% accurate, because when you're dealing with human beings, it's always can be some chance of error. But I was explaining to him that like when they said 7 people had died at that point, that's when we had our conversation. There was like 27 that was in like ICU fighting for their life. And then a week and a half later, they announced 3 more people had died. They were from that initial hit that they just didn't make it. You follow what I'm saying? Are you really following it?
Yeah.
So the thing is, right now, there's roughly 30 soldiers that's fighting for their life. They're not KIA yet, killed in action. They're not deceased yet. They're fighting for their life. Over 300 have been injured. So the thing is like there's some. So when they say, oh, this network right here said this here, or this many people died, oh, they lying about this right here. The thing is like the worst thing you can do for a family is tell them that their loved one has passed away, and then next thing you know, that joker show up because there was an explosion and they were buried under debris and nobody found them yet. And then a day and a half later, they find them. You already done notified this family that they was deceased, but they're alive. So you have to make sure that when you say somebody is KIA, killed in action, whether it's friendly fire or not, it's still in action. It's treated the same. And that's the reason why you have to continuously train to minimize that friendly fire, because a lot of people don't know that more soldiers get killed back here in the rear training. I remember I was at a
I
60
would agree with
range.
that.
I was here at a 60 range, and it was a soldier. We was out there, and the 60 range is 7.62 machine gun, you know, and the range controller, this cat had the magazine, and he something happened to his tripod where he didn't have it locked, and he started firing, and because the barrel had gotten so hot, it heated up the chamber. He had a runaway gun. And because it wasn't strapped to the tripod, it just slung to the side. And it hit the NCO that was the range control, hit him, split him almost in half. And it hit three other people.
Mhm.
That was training. Like soldiers die all the time. More soldiers die during training than in battle. That's just how it is. But you continuously train to prevent those things from happening.
Well,
But that's
maybe
just
you ain't understand the way I was asking it. Like well, I'm not speaking to that. I know I understand that you ain't stopping and getting emotional on it. But what about like, all right, so I remember particular. Okay, let's put it like this. I remember watching a movie, right? And in this movie was an alleged shootout where a football team in the movie met some rival guys and a shootout occurred. Almost like the movie The Warriors, where the Warriors got to find their way back to Canarsie, in Brooklyn. And in the midst of this shootout, one of the teammates were killed. Now, the truth of the matter is, in the heat of the moment, to your point, everybody, bullets is just flying. Everybody just going for their own protecting their own safety. But when this one teammate particularly is laying there, you watch this person take their last breath, I would think that it would weigh on you for the rest of your life, not knowing whether it was one of your teammate bullets that hit that person or the opposing teammate bullet that hit that person. Because either way they're going.
Yeah, you know straight out the gate, because anytime they do an AAR, after action report. So anytime there's a conflict or battle or anything, you always sit down and do your after action review or after action report. Basically, what went wrong, what went right, how do we keep what went wrong from going wrong again? Like the thing with Pat Tillman, they tried to cover it to honor his family, to say that it sounded more heroic for him to be killed by the enemy versus friendly fire. And they came out finally and admitted that. They was trying to make the family think that he died fighting the enemy and the enemy took him out. They admitted it was wrong. Like, but the way I look at it, when he was in the Ranger unit, and I think he was just a PFC, like he had entered as a PFC. So it's a whole lot of training. So I can't say because of his rank, because when you go Ranger, you get promoted fairly fast because of the promotion scale. So for him to be a PFC, it's almost like he enlisted. He announced he was leaving the Cardinals. He enlisted. He went through basic, went straight to Ranger Ranger Battalion, and then he went over to Afghanistan or went into the conflict. So he didn't have a whole lot of training. To me, he wasn't trained up. And so I can't say if he didn't move right, or it can't say unless you were actually physically there. But they did an AAR and they agreed that they would tell the family to make him honorable, his death more honorable, that it was by the enemy. But then when the family, they knew some senators that's on the military committee and all that stuff. Them senators have access to some of those top secret or classified files. They saw that and like, look, whether it hurts them or not, I got to let the family know that he was killed by friendly fire. And that's what that senator did. He notified the family. So I just think it's one of those things that the numbers, I can tell you for a fact, yeah, we don't have the exact numbers because there's still over 30 people fighting for their life. You know, we could wake up tomorrow morning and 12 more pass away that got hit a month ago when it first kicked off. You follow what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to
Yeah.
announce somebody. Now, if they don't announce someone, most likely it's because they're a gray man. They're on a Delta regimen. You know, and Delta regimen, we call them gray men because, you know, it's black file clearance. You know, so they're not like regular soldiers. You know, the only time they didn't release something was when that pilot crashed into the plane up in DC. And I knew the young lady Rebecca, you know, because you know, she played AAU basketball. She was from Chapel Hill. They wiped all her social media, everything before they released her name. She wasn't Delta. She was just an undertrained helicopter pilot. And when they played the recording, you can read it on, listen to it on YouTube now. The tower kept telling her she was too high. She was 150 feet too high. But she had less than 500 flight hours. You're not supposed to fly at night unless you have at least 1,200 flight hours. So why was she even flying at night with NVGs on? And NVGs is tunnel vision. You follow me? You don't have no peripheral. It's tunnel. And there was only 3 people on that bird. At nighttime, you're supposed to have a minimum of 4. You have the main, and then you have 2 crew chiefs in the back. So to me, that was whoever that command is over her, for them authorizing her to do some training flights would not even 500 hours. She wasn't even supposed to graduate from warrant officer school or flight school with only 500 hours. So, but I also know the last 2 years she had been working for the president. So it was probably her first flight in 2 years. So now you got 60 something plus people that died because of training. Lack of training, improper training. And I can tell you from the general down, well, I know the general down were fired. P. Hess had fired all of them. He was like, she should, when they did their invest, she should never been cleared because anytime somebody steps into a bird, whether an airplane or a copter, it has to be authorized all the way up to the chain. Like some, it could be like, okay, it's regular, you know, we fly all the time, you know, but they have to sign off on it. That whole chain of command got relieved.
Yeah, but that's to me, that's neither here nor there. I don't like
but it's friendly. It's, you know, a lot of 63 people on that jet died, and they were civilians.
And that's my point. When you are involved in it, and like I said, you might not have that experience. I know, like I said, when I watched that alleged movie all those years ago, all those years later, I feel some type of way not knowing who murdered that individual. That's all I was saying. Like, you just can't dismiss it. In real life, you don't get to get a AAR or whatever you called it to know who did this here and that there.
In war, you do. In
That's
war,
what I'm saying. I'm not talking about war. Well, even in war. So when they come back with that conclusion that this person died because of friendly fire, how do you process knowing that one of your brothers and sisters, one of your comrades in war, was lost at a mistake that you possibly made, or one somebody close to you? It wasn't the enemy. I would think that you more.
If it's you, some counseling. If it's one of your buddies that did it, I got to make sure I stay on my P's and Q's. So that's not me.
Yeah. And that's what I was essentially asking.
So that's what, if it wasn't you but one of your friends, you're gonna be like, dude, I gotta make sure
our company. Yeah,
I gotta make sure people stay serious when we training to keep that from happening.
Again.
Yeah. But if it's that person, I'm gonna most likely whoever took out Tillman, he probably ETS, and he's probably dealing with it in his life today. Like
And that's another point that I was gonna make before we got out of here too. When you brought that up, like they admitted that they lied. So if you admitted that you are a liar in certain cases, why should I believe anything that you tell me? And I get it. I get the reason.
That's anything dealing with human. Like if you dating a girl, right, and she put on a dress and say, do you like this? You know, most guys might be like, more times than not, the guy won't, if it don't look too bad, but he don't like it, he gonna let it ride. Oh, that look cool.
And that's I'm glad you used that analogy. That's why I can't relate. I don't know, because I'm not most guys, and that's why I'm single. Because I'm going to tell you if I don't like it. I'm not trying to get anything. That's just my reality. I'm gonna keep it straight with you. When people ask me all the time, why would I lie about this? I don't know. Because I don't lie. I don't know why I lie would lie. You know what I mean? But in some cases, people lie for the right reasons. Especially
now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you see you see a female just out,
mm-hmm.
Up at up the street at the outlet, right? Now, how many times have you yourself said, man, them lashes look good?
Never.
Exactly. But that female is wearing those long dang on lashes because she done asked somebody how she looks, and they lied to her and said, oh yeah, girl, that's everything. That's everything.
In some cases. Because in some cases,
because
they've been told the truth.
If you look at the number,
you a hater.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime you're dealing with human interaction, whether war, on the street, on the block, with voting, anytime there's humans involved, it's a chance that something ain't consistent or may not be true. You follow me? Like anytime humans are involved, like how many times you done heard people talk about they worked on a project, but when they turned it in, their boss took all the credit, even though they did all the work. Anytime
that still makes their boss a liar. I
get
it.
But anytime you dealing with humans, there's always an error. Like I'm not justifying them lying to the family for Pat Tillman. I'm not justifying it by any means. I'm just stating that they gave the reasons why they was trying to make it a little easier for the family. Like anytime I open my mouth on Pat Tillman, it's gonna sound like I'm trying to make an excuse for the military. So my thing is this: they felt whoever the chain of command was, who ended up getting relieved, also is because I felt he was out there before he was ready. And they probably wanted him to be out there because he is this NFL player. He was fighting along with them, and he probably skated through some things.
It's a good story.
You follow what I'm saying? Like he didn't have it. He didn't go through. Most guys in a Ranger battalion, their first exercise is not in combat. He was a PFC. So if he was a PFC, he was maybe 3-4 months out of Ranger school. So that right there tells me he was put there too soon.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. All I'm saying is, and I'm done. You can rebuttal if you want. All I'm saying is, if you prove it to me that you are a liar or that you have lied, why should I believe anything that you tell me? That's all I'm saying for me. You know what I mean? Not that you always lie, But if you told me, if you admitted to telling me a lie once, why should I believe or why should I not question anything that you tell me going forward? Whether it's for the right reason or not. And again, I used to be married, so I know people lie all the time. Which is one reason why I always say I would never lie again, because I don't never see being married again. To your point, baby, how do I look at this? Of course, baby, you killing it. You don't really feel that way, but
Never
you
say
lying
never.
you lying for the reason. Nah, I can say never. I ain't never getting married again. That's a whole nother show for another topic. I just don't believe in second marriages. That's just me. I don't knock what anybody else does, but I don't believe in second marriages. And like I said, we can say that for another topic for another day. Because I know a lot of people, that's interesting, all that there. We gotta get ready to get up out of here too. Sam said, Julie said, Sam, I don't think you saying what I'm saying. And I know the speaking from your military background. Let's say tomorrow they say there's only 20 soldiers been killed ever since this war started until now. Would you believe that?
I mean, I just said that there's over 30 that's in ICU fighting for their life. So today or tomorrow it could be 20. But then the next day all 30 could pass away. So like it's not the way I look at it, and there's no knock on Julian, because Julian, like when I see him on TikTok and stuff, he promotes thought. He promotes dialogue, which I like. But it's one of those things that I guess because of my background and knowing like what the certain protocol is supposed to be when you announce, someone is KIA or someone's been taken out or anything, that from experience, I'm going to always fall back to what I've told Julian or what I said here. Because let's say, for example, if there's a dang on convoy, right? You got 22 vehicles in a convoy, and the convoy gets hit. RPGs are hit, vehicles have flipped over, everybody has scattered, just a cluster. And so nobody is on radio signal. Their radio, when you're on a convoy, you're supposed to do a radio check like every 2 minutes or every 5 minutes. So let's say the command back at the top, the operation command, they haven't heard a check-in. At a certain point on the map, you're supposed to check in. They haven't heard that. Already they're going to be like, okay, we got to put them on question status. Have they been hit? Okay, let's fly a drone over or something to see if there's smoke, just anything. So they could go there and see, the drone could say, oh, it's been smoked, demolished, all that stuff. And would you rather them say the entire convoy, all 66 soldiers are KIA? And then you have people go back in there, do a recon, and they find that there's soldiers that was up under that vehicle injured and stuff. And
I would rather you not say anything than give me this. I said I would rather for you, if you asking me a question, I would rather for you not give me anything until you know.
Well, that's the point.
Give me bad information.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to explain to Julian, that when he said, do you really believe 7 people? Like, I don't know if there was what unit, what MOS is, like it's a lot of parameters on that would factor in on what I would believe or what I wouldn't. The way this operation is, because it's no boots on the ground. There hasn't been a U.S. soldier in Iran since 1979. They shut the embassy down. Like, the U.S. completely got out of Iran. Now, I'm not saying they didn't have agents, because that's how they got all their intelligence, from Iranians that had got paid some money, promised U.S. citizenship, and they sneaking their cameras in and they recording stuff. That's what they're doing. A lot of those strikes that they're doing now, it's the Iranian, the Persians. They're sitting there recording all the sites, and they're sending it in to like Israel. And that's where Israel's getting 50% of their intelligence, where they're bombing, they're getting it from inside of Iran. Because the people want all them the spiritual leaders that's psycho, they want them all gone. So they're helping the US bomb. I mean, well, the US and Israel to me is one and the same because of that United States code that I told you 8601 that Obama signed. So that's what people like, why are we helping Israel? Why are we doing all this? Because that's what Obama wanted. And that's what he got them because he had the super majority in the Senate. He had the House, so that's how he got all that stuff passed. So it's one of those things. So I know Jude keeps he'll send me, no, but we not, that's something we just not gonna see. I can't do anything but utilize my experience. And that's just so I'll never see it how Jude sees it because our experience is just different. Most of my when I talk about stuff, I try to utilize if I don't have experience in it, I don't talk about it. If I haven't like educated myself on it, I kind of like stay away from it. Because I don't want to talk, like I stopped talking a whole lot about Islamists until I spoke to my neighbors that's from Pakistan and some other friends that I had that started breaking down the Sunni and the Shiites. And, they started to break that down to educate me. Then once I became more educated and did research, then I said, okay, let me talk on it. Let me speak on it because just speak on what I've learned.
All right, so you don't. I mean, either way, I feel what you're saying. I see both sides of it, but that's neither here nor there. We gotta get up out of here though, because it's late as I don't know what. But that is a simple question to me, Drew. No, I ain't believing nothing they tell me. I ain't saying that they lying, but I don't necessarily believe it. Simple as that.
You don't believe they lying, but you don't believe they telling the truth.
I don't know, but if it's a simple question to me that was saying yes or no, I would go with no. I don't necessarily believe them because we talk about war. How only 20 people? I don't believe it. That's just the way it is. Even when you would look at all the different news outlets, you got Al Jazeera covering this here. These numbers are distorted. This here, CNN want to tell this their version of a story. And I remember one of my bishop, he taught me something years ago. He said, always remember, when you read a book, just remember that's one person's perspective. I look at the news as the same exact way. Doesn't mean that anybody wrong or wrong, but in the Bible, you got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They all saying the same things, some similarities, but there are little things different based off of their vantage point of where they was at. So am I saying anybody was lying? No, but everybody has their own version of the truth. That's all I'm saying. I don't necessarily believe all of you guys, though. Just like I don't think that's necessarily lying. But for you to tell me that only 20 people died in a war, I would have a hard time believing that. That's just me. Before we get out of here, shout out everybody. Keep my man, my cousin, man in prayer, and many other Carolina fans. They celebrating. They overjoyed. I just got word or just seen the alert a few minutes ago where Hubert Davis is out as the coach in UNC. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, you knew that.
Like, I didn't think that it would happen.
He knew that.
I didn't think they would fire him.
After his last interview, after that last interview, the way he answered that, I think he was done. I honestly think he was done because he didn't answer no. Like, go watch that post game interview, and you would like he was checked out. I honestly believe they was like, come on back, let's try it one more time. Hubert was done. You look at the interview.
I was in resistance of this from because I actually cheered for him to get the job. I'm glad he got the opportunity, but I didn't think that they would pull the trigger on it. I didn't think that they would get rid of him. I thought that if anything, they would have moved him like the GM with that new position that he got in college now, or something, just because of his experience and his what he means to the University of North Carolina as a former player, uh, NBA experience, great analyst on television, but it didn't matriculate to coaching. So I wish him the best of luck in his next adventure or whatever. I just hope we get somebody decent in here, in Tar Heel Nation. But a lot of people, like I said, my cousin, man, he
You think
been
it's going to be another?
alumni.
Now I'm saying, do you think they're going to get a former player for UNC, or
That's what I'm saying. You think we're
like
gonna
how
get
they did
alumni?
Roy Williams?
I highly doubt it. Because one, I don't see anybody that's out there other than maybe the possibility of Jerry Stackhouse, and I don't know if he wants to leave the NBA or assistant coach to come back to Chapel Hill. I don't know. I don't know who else would be qualified though, as far as I'm concerned. I think it might be time for some
Yeah, because
fresh blood
man,
outside of
Shire.
UNC anyway.
Yeah,
Like I said, I can't think of anybody off
yeah,
the top of my
it's
head.
definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Somebody had even mentioned earlier too, Bobby coming. We was talking about that scenario, but I'm like, I don't know if I want any ex Duke players coaches at North Carolina. Like, it's a bad look. It's bad for optics.
Yeah, that's going to be different.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
because every time we lose, we gotta wonder if he threw the game and all that kind of stuff. And you know what I mean? I don't know about that there. I don't know if I want any ex Dukies in Chapel Hill as a head coach. But we'll see. It's a lot of names that's available out there. So hopefully everything will go good. Either way, he was going to be he was going to be decent. And one of the things that and I'm definitely closing after this. One of the things I always try to tell people, a couple years ago, I got to meet Hubert and went to this little event at his crib and everything. Man, great dude, great dude. I had nothing bad to say about Hubert Davis, especially after meeting him in person. Um, but I always try to tell people, LeBron taught me this years ago. LeBron and Russell Westbrook. I learned a long time ago that we got to stop wanting to see people for what we want to see them as and accept them for who they are. I remember, like LeBron, man, once he get it together, this was early LeBron, first, second year. Like, man, once he get that Kobe, once he get that Michael mentality, oh, it's over for the league. But LeBron don't care about that. LeBron is more magic. He doesn't have that killer instinct. And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that in a negative way or a positive way. It's just that's not his mindset. Russell Westbrook, if he could just ever slow down and just learn how to contain himself and compose himself, you
yeah,
know, Russell just never got there, you know. So either I got accepted for the player that they are, not without the potential that I want them to be. Hubert is the same way. Hubert coaches like his personality. Hubert is not going to be, you know what I mean? He's an embodiment of, so I can't ask him to be a Coach K. I can't ask him to be a Dean Smith because he's not those people. Does that mean that Hubert is a bad coach? Not necessarily. He just had a bad run this year. Because people, it's like Cam and Mace always talk about it. How short we forget. Hubert went to the championship game his first year. You know what I mean? But here it is, we 4 years removed, and it's like, oh man, he got to go. He early exit, 3 out of his 4 years, 3 out of his 5 years, or whatever the case may be. And I know I'm not mad at that assessment, but it is what it is, man. But either way, he's gonna be all right. So shout out to Hubert Davis, shout out to the Carolina family. Drew said Westbrook take 3 pots of sugar before a game. Yo, that dude used to be non-stop. I used to do like, yo, if he just slowed
he
down,
on 100. He on 100.
all game, every game. That's one thing that I liked about him. You know what I mean? But yeah, he do. He be amped up, man. But we gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody. I got a good family friend gonna be here with us next week. Pastor Scott Tucker, Lord willing, he's gonna share his testimony about how he came to Christ and share different things that he has going on. He has a podcast of as well. We're going to discuss that. He also has a devotional that he put out. We will be discussing that, and also, the loss of one of his youngest sons. I asked him, if he feels up talking about it, he can or whatnot. But I can't even imagine what it would be like to have to eulogize your own child. So, let's continue to keep him and his wife and the rest of the family in prayer. But hopefully we'll have a good conversation next Tuesday night. He'll come by and share testimony. What drew him to the life and accepting Christ as his Lord and Savior and different things of that nature there. It's been a while since we had an actual, good testimony on the spiritual side. So I'm looking forward to that. But I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend. Stay out of this rain or pollen as much as possible. Everybody that's dealing with allergies, make sure you take your necessary precautions, whatever, because it's starting to get crazy out here as far as the weather here in North Carolina, or wherever you at. But I love you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Come back and see. Condolences to your people too. Again, Sam, praying for you and the family, and praying for you as well as you guys prepare to attend this service on this Saturday. So shout out to her and the long live the memory of that young lady as well. What was her name again, Sam?
Cassie Brown.
Cassie Brown. So rest in peace, Cassie Brown. Gone but never forgotten. Look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Love on each other. Again, make those phone calls. Make that text this week to somebody that you haven't in a while. Reach out before it's too late and while you still yet have time to do it. That being said, look forward to seeing you all next week. And as usual, I'm signing off. DeAndre and Lisha, know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.